Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Hare Hare. Again, everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our evening Bhagavad Gita circle reading, and it's called Srila Prabhupada Says. As we said, that we are going to be continuing with the second part of the lecture from chapter 2, verse 1 by Srila Prabhupada. Without further delay, we will start with the lecture. Hare Krishna.
Tam tatha kripayavistam asupurna kulekshanam visidantam idam vakam uvacha madhusudanam. Madhusudana, Krishna is described here as Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, Madhukaitava Bhar. So, Arjuna was attacked by a demon of forgetting his duty, being too much afflicted by bodily relations. This is our position. In this material world, we are so much attached to this bodily relationship that it is to be considered just like we are ghostly haunted. In a poetry, Prem Vivarta, it is said that Pishachi paile jano motichhanna hoy মায়াগ্রস্ত জীবের সেই দশা উপজয়। মায়াগ্রস্ত জীব, মায়াগ্রস্ত maya means illusion, hallucination. So, we are in this material world, we are all illusion. Illusion means accepting something as fact which is not. Something just like in dream, we see sometimes I'm attacked with a tiger. My head is being cut off. So many things. So actually there is no tiger. My head is not being cut off, but still I am crying. Oh, here is a tiger, here is a tiger. So, our attachment for this world is like that, it is illusion. I am thinking that without me, everything will be spoiled. My presence is required. and so on, so on. Just like sometimes our political leaders, each and every one of them think that without him, the whole situation will be spoiled. Even Mahatma Gandhi, he was so attached that he would not retire from political life unless he was killed. The attachment was so strong. But after passing away of Mahatma Gandhi or Jawaharlal Nehru or so many big leaders, the world is going on. There is a Bengali proverb that when the king dies, it does not mean the kingdom stops. The kingdom goes on. But when so long the leader or the person in charge remains there, he thinks that without me everything will be spoiled. This is called Maya. This is called illusion. According to Vedic system, therefore, there is forced renunciation. Nobody wants to return from family life, but the Vedic injunction is that after one has passed 50 years, he must leave his family life. Panchasadham vanam brajet. In the beginning, as a student life, he is trained up, brahmachari, undergoing severe austerities, penances, and taking instruction from the spiritual master about the temporary existence of this material world. In this way, he is trained up very nicely. And even after training, if he appears to be attached to this material world, he is allowed to go home and marry. And some of the brahmacharis are allowed to remain noistic brahmachari without going home and accepting a wife. But one who cannot, he is allowed to accept wife and become a householder and remain there for 25 years, because generally the brahmachari was going home at the age of 24 years, 25 years. So after marriage, he may get a child. So living there for 25 years means the child is grown up. Then the husband and wife takes leave, not living for good, but vanaprastha, traveling in pilgrimages like Vrindavan, Prayag. That was the system. And after 2 months, again he comes back and he remains home. For another 2 months, again goes out. In this way, the whole process is how to give up attachment from this family life, from this world. And when he is trained up fully, he takes sannyas. That is our Vedic system. So, the attachment of this material world is very strong. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Rishabdev. Pumshang striyami thuni bhavame tat. This whole material world is an attachment of male and female. Pumshang striya. Mithuni bhava. Sex impulse, attachment. Tayor mitha hridayaganti mahu. And when they are married, when they are united, then it becomes a hard knot in the heart. Atagrihachetu sutartha vittai janasya mohoyam aham mameti. Then gradually, after being united, one becomes attached to griha, home, apartment, kshetra. Formerly there was no industry, so everyone must have some land to produce food. Griha, kshetra, suta, then children, apta, friends, vitta, then money. Because without money, nothing can be maintained. Atagriya kshetra sutartha vittai janasya moha. He becomes more and more illusioned. And aham mameti, this is my country, this is my family, this is my house, this is my children, so on, mama, mine, and I am this person, I am this body. This is illusion. So, Arjuna appeared to be illusion. So how I shall fight with my brothers and grandfather on the other side? He became so much illusion. Tantatha kripayavistam. He became illusion, not unnecessarily. He was very much compassionate with his family members. Kripayavistam. Asupurna kulekshanam. And he was crying. There were tears in his eyes. Visidantam idam vakam. And he was lamenting in this way. How shall I fight? So Krishna then began to speak. Krishna saw that my friend Arjuna has become too much illusion. So he wanted to kill the demon of illusion. Therefore he is mentioned here as Madhusudana. Krishna comes. He has got two business. Paritranaya sadhana, vinashaya cha duskita. Side by side, giving protection to his devotees. Sadhu. Sadhu means devotee. Devotee of Krishna is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita as sadhu. Apiche sudurachara bhajate mam ananna bha. Sadhu deva samanta. One who is strictly a pure devotee of Krishna, he is mentioned as sadhu. Sadhu deva samanta. Sammak vavasita he is. He is first class sadhu. Even if he is a grihastha, it doesn't matter. Generally we understand sadhu means with saffron cloth. No. Sadhu's qualification is that he must be a pure devotee of Krishna. Sadhava sadhu bhusana. Sadhava sadhu bhusana. So now Krishna speaks. See, Bhagavan uvacha. Bhagavan. This Bhagavan means one who is full with 6 kinds of opulences. He is called Bhagavan. Vaisajyasya, samagrasya, bijasya, jasasya, sriya, jnana, vairagyayasya, sara iti bhavangana. Bhava. Bhagavan and Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Sayam. There are other great personalities. Lord Shiva is also sometimes described as Bhagavan. Similarly, Lord Brahma, Narada, others are also sometimes described as Bhagavan. But real Bhagavan means Krishna. They are They are Bhagavan, partial. All these things have been very much carefully analyzed by Srila Rupa Goswami. He has analyzed in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we have translated into English, Nectar of Devotion. He has analyzed that Krishna is 10% Bhagavan. And Narayan is 94% Bhagavan. And Lord Shiva is 84%. And all other living entities, we are minutely 78% Bhagavan. That means when you come to the perfection of life, when you are actually in the spiritual state, then you have got the qualities of Bhagavan in minute quantity, but not all the qualities, 78%. These have been very nicely analyzed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And the Shastra says also, Krishnastu Bhagavan Sayam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a list of all the incarnations. Such and such incarnation appears for such and such particular activities. In that incarnation list, there is name of Lord Ramchandra also, Lord Buddha also. Buddha's name is also there. But in the conclusive portion, it is declared there, Ete chansakala pumso, Krishnastu Bhagavansa. In that list, the name of Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram is there also. But the conclusion is given by Vyasadeva that except Krishna, all others, they are a plenary expansion of Krishna or part of plenary expansion of Krishna. Angsha Kala. Angsha means direct expansion. And Kala means expansion of the secondary expansion. So it is concluded there that Iti Chamsa Kala Punsa, all these incarnations, they are either Angsha or Kala. But Krishna, the name Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the original personality of God, Krishna. The same thing here Vyasadeva described. Sri Bhagavan Uvach. He is not ordinary person. Bhagavan speaking. Bhagavan means, what is Bhagavan? Aishwarya. Aishwarya means riches. Nobody can be richer than Bhagavan. We have got our ideas of richness. I may be rich, but you are richer than me. Somebody is richer than you, somebody is richer than another. You go, make proceed. When you find out the final richest person, that is Bhagavan. Aishwarjasya samagras, all riches. Not that partial. One may have 1,000, another may have 1 lakh, one may have 1 crore. But nobody can say that I have got all the monies. No, that is not possible. But Bhagavan has all the monies. Aishwarjasya samagrasya, bijasya, similarly strength, bodily strength or power. Aishwarjasya samagrasya, bijasya, jasasya. And similarly, reputation. We are also reputed. But nobody can be reputed than Krishna. Just like 5,000 years ago, he spoke this Bhagavad Gita, and he is so reputed that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and still it is running on, not only in India, but we are traveling all over the world. There are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita. So he is so reputed. So Isajjasya Samagrasya Bijasya Jasasa Sriya, and beautiful, the most beautiful, Krishna, most attract. Jasasa Jnana, knowledge. Now, Krishna's knowledge, there is no limit. Still, the knowledge, the book of knowledge which he has given, this Bhagavad Gita, there is no comparison. There is no second book in the whole world which contains so full of knowledge. So Jnana and Vairagya also. In spite of all the property of Krishna, Krishna doesn't care for this material world. He is busy in the spiritual world. Radha Madhava, Kunya Vihari, he is busy in Vrindavan. He has many servants, just big man, has got many secretaries, servants, they look after. Similarly, in this material world, he is the representative, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, they are managing the affairs of this whole universe. But he is enjoying and Vrindavan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari. He has no concern. He doesn't care what is happening here. But it does not mean that he doesn't care, but he has no anxiety how the things are being managed. When it is mismanaged, then sometimes Krishna comes in his Vasudev form, not the original Krishna. Original Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Padamekam nagachi. He is always in his abode. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vrikha lakhabriteshu surabhi rabhipalayant Lakshmi sahasra sata samrama sevvamanam govindam adi purusam tamaham bhajam. He is very much adhered to his cows, surabhi rabhipalayant, and is surrounded by hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune, these gopis. He is surrounded. Lakshmi sahasra sata samrama sevvamanam. We are here praying goddess of fortune to have some favor. But in the spiritual world, Krishna is served by hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune. This is Krishna's position. So, I do not know why foolish people, they do not understand what is God. Everything is there. And he comes also personally. Not only the God's name, address, activities and everything is there, but he comes personally also. He proves, Krishna, he proves that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Krishna was present, he proved all these things. Aisajjasya samagrasya bijasya jasasa sriya. He proved. He had 16,000 wives, and each wife a big palatial building of marble, bedecked with jewels and guarded with parijat flowers. These are descriptions. Nobody can maintain 16,000 wives in 16,000 palaces. Not only that, not that if he enters in one palace, he lives with one wife, the other wives are vacant. No. He expanded himself into 16,000 forms. And with each wife was living comfortably. Each wife had 10 children. And those children also had each children, grandsons. In this way, Krishna's family was more than 1 crore, Jaduvanshi. So, if you study from material point of view, when Krishna was present, he proved that he is Bhagavan. And Bhagavan means not a big beard and meditation. Krishna never became Bhagavan by meditation. He was not a manufactured God. He is God, always. He is not manufactured. When he was on the lap of his mother, Jashoda, he was God. The Putana came to kill him, but Krishna killed him. In this way, if we read the life of Krishna, he is proved Bhagavan. And not only he proved himself, but all others, great authorities, accepted him, Bhagavan. There are 4 Vaishnava acharyas in the recent years, and one Mayavad Acharya, Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya also, although he is inclined to the impersonal feature of the Lord, but he accepted Krishna, Sa Bhagavan Sayam Krishna. He accepted. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, Narayana Bhaktya. So, other Vaishnava Acharya, Ramanuja Acharya, Madhyacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, lately Lord Chaitanya, all of them accepted Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. And Arjuna, he also, when he heard from him Bhagavad Gita, he accepted him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parabrahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusam Shasatam. So Krishna is accepted universally, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why people are making research, where is God? I do not know. Why they are uselessly taking so much hard labor to search out God. Here is God, Krishna, Bhagavan Uvacha. So, there is no reason, there is no chance of not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna personally says that Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. There is no more superior element above me. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the origin of everything. Aham Adi Devanam. There are so many statements. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. So anyone who is actually serious about understanding about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no difficulty. But because we are obstinate, because we are sinful, because we are lowest of the mankind, because our knowledge has been taken away by Maya, and because we are atheists, we do not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality. Otherwise there is no reason. Krishna therefore describes Namang Duskitanam Mudha Prapadante Naradhama. Unless one is Duskritina, always miscreants, full of sinful life, he cannot deny Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. So our This Krishna consciousness movement is preaching all over the world that you are all advanced in civilization and advanced in scientific knowledge and advanced in everything, but you are missing one thing, God, Krishna. So here is God, here is Krishna. You try to understand Krishna and be Krishna conscious and make your life successful. That is our propaganda. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
May I ask you one question?
Yes.
When there is bhajan singing,
Yes.
which I can understand the words, the bhajan
Hare Krishna.
or any
Yes.
bhajan of God,
Yes.
when you say understand language and everything, you see if it is just like Mirabai, then crying, tear comes from my eyes, and if he is laughing, the very instant laugh.
Yes.
And there is
Then
no
come.
further progress.
Now there is Ashtasattvic Vikar.
Certainly.
Yes. That is called Vikar, transformation of spiritual platform. Yes.
There is something more.
No, that is it.
Hmm.
When one cries,
Yes.
transformed, that means he is realizing Krishna. He is
Realize,
realizing.
yes, right.
That is realizing.
Yes.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also used to do that.
Yes.
There is high stage, Mahabhav.
Mahabharata. Yes, sir, just immediately.
Yeah.
So when I go in bhajan, you see, I wash my mouth, everything. I feel myself that there is only soul, no body. And you see the man who sings or who are present, you see, they are
Yeah.
also no body. But
Yes,
simply
forget
soul.
all material.
All these things.
Yes.
And then these things
Yes.
come.
That is perfection, liberated stage.
to your state.
Yes.
Have you explained anything about this in your Gita in 15, you see, these three books?
Gita is just to understand what is God.
God.
And then when you are actually engaged in God's service, these
Yes.
things come.
Yes.
That is higher stage. Gita is the ABCD of understanding God.
So it will give some more reflection. you
Yes,
see.
but if we accept the ABCD,
Yes.
then we come to literature, then we pass any examination.
Yes.
Yes. So Gita is the preliminary step, first step
Yes.
of understanding God.
I am reading Gita from my childhood, so I like Gita. You see, Gita.
Very good.
Yes. So I think yes, your Gita will give some more, you see, reflection.
Yes, I am explaining as it is.
Yes.
I am not interpreting.
Yes.
That is, so it is being
Yes.
accepted.
So I should read it. So just
Thank
that is
you.
inclination. I should. You see.
Very good.
It's very good.
Hare Krishna.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes, let us discuss. Ah. Ah.
So, if we do our work so perfectly, we can't do it. Otherwise, then why it is necessary? So I am an imperfect devotee. But the question you see, everyone doing all the since morning to night, all the worldly duties sincerely and honestly to our capacity. Why it is necessary or inevitable? So I am a Brahmin, I am daily worshipping God. But why it is necessary? It is you must do every now and then bhajanas.
Yes, if your life is so made that in every step you are feeling presence of Krishna, then it is Krishna consciousness. That is the first class yoga, as it is confirmed by Krishna. Yoginamapi sarvesam madgata antaratmana Siddhyaman bhajati jumang sami jukta tamo. Just like these boys, they are being trained up to think of Krishna 24 hours. Kirtaniya sadahari. They are, just like we have constructed this pandal, our business is to preach Krishna. So the energy employed for constructing this temple, that is also Krishna, that energy. Somebody is doing anything, Nidbande, Krishna Sambandhe, Yukta Vairagam Uchyate. If our activities are always adopted for Krishna's satisfaction, that is called Vairag. Vairag. A man is engaged in business, that's all right. But if the fruit of that business is meant for Krishna, then sakarmana tamam bhaj. That is sakarma. Generally, we work for our sense gratification. I have got this money, I must use for my sense gratification, or for my relative sense gratification, or for my country's sense gratification, for my society's sense gratification. This is materialism. But when the same thing is turned for Krishna's sense gratification, that is spiritual. That is the difference between prem and calm. Calm, it has been very simplified by Kaviraj Krishnadas Goswami in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. Atmendriya tripti vancha tar naam calm. Atmendriya tripti. If you want to satisfy your senses, that is called calm, lust. Krishnendriya tripti vancha dhare prem naam. The same thing, when you try to satisfy the senses of Krishna, that is called prem. So we have to divert the activities for Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. That's Arjuna. Arjuna, in the beginning, he denied to fight. That our subject matter, he was crying, no, I cannot fight. So apparently Arjuna was very nice gentleman, that he is forgetting, he is clean over the kingdom, he is non-violent, he is not willing to fight with his brothers, and he was crying so compassionate. So from materialistic point of view, he was very nice. But immediately, as we will begin tomorrow, Krishna says that, why you are thinking like Anarja? Anarja Justam. This kind of thinking is not for Aryans. It is for the non-Aryans. It is not. And the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna to make him Arya. And at the end, Krishna inquired from Arjuna, what is your decision? Jatechasi tatha kuru. But Arjuna replied, Karishe tad vachanam. Karishe vachanam. Now I shall fight. And Krishna gave him certificate, Bhaktosi, Priyosi, you are my dear friend and my great devotee. Now, fighting is not very good business, killing. But sometimes, by killing, one can become a great devotee of Krishna. He was a warrior, fighter. His business was to fight, but he fought for Krishna, and then he became a devotee. That is sakarmana tamam. Arjuna, Brahman, Kshatriya. Similarly, our main sakarma, guna karma, vibhagas. According to Vedic system, there are 4 divisions. Chatur varnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagas. Not by birth, but by quality and actual activities. So, There are Brahmanas, there are Kshatriyas, there are Vaishyas, there are Shudras, there are Brahmachari, there are Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So everyone should be engaged to satisfy Krishna. That is the whole philosophy. Sakarmana kamabhaja. You work as Brahmin, you work as a Kshatriya, you work as a Vaishya or Shudra, it doesn't matter. Even Krishna has advised that even if you think that I am working as a Vaishya, it is not very good because sometimes I have to speak lie for business sake. And Brahmana's business is very nice. No. Krishna's advice, sadosam api nattajet. Even in your profession there are so many faults, you should not give it. You should go on. But the result must be given to Krishna. That is the secret. You may work as a Brahmin, as a Kshatriya, as a businessman, as an engineer, as a doctor, as a warrior, whatever you may be, it is never condemned. No work is condemned. Every work is dignified, provided it is meant for Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. John.
Okay, what I was saying is it's a wonderful lecture by Srila Prabhupada as usual. You know, I like when he says, I don't understand what is the difficulty. It just makes me crack up the way Srila Prabhupada says. Such a nice point how he says that. So we'd like to ask devotees if you can share at least one takeaway from this class. If you can, please share your takeaway so we can all benefit from it. I can start off. One of my takeaways as when Srila Prabhupada used the word forced renunciation. I thought that was really powerful. When he said that, it reminded me of a quote by my spiritual master that he said many, many years ago, that if we don't change, then Krishna will create an arrangement. No, Krishna will create a situation that will force us to change. So that is, so I was really remembering that instruction, and also from Srila Prabhupada, forced renunciation, that if we are so attached, but at the same time, you know, we want to be Krishna conscious, then the Lord will arrange a situation that we are forced to just give up, you know, if you really want to let go. So that was a very nice reminder. I just like the way he said forced renunciation, vairagya. That was very powerful for me. Any other feedback from devotees? Any takeaways? Any thoughts? Any reflection? Please do share. Would like to hear. We have, you know, at least 5-10 minutes. 5 minutes. We have 6:45. Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Sharuk.
Dandot Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yay.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this point that, you know, that Prabhupada was saying at the start, like people think, or, you know, even I sometimes think that, you know, if I leave the work, who will do it? So it's like, no, the world will go on without you. Yeah, it's not like the world will stop with if you are not there. That's one point I liked. And then Prabhupada was talking like Krishna is not a manufactured god, like not like you do some yoga practice and then you will become God. He is the eternal God. So yeah, that's what I like.
Those were two good points. Yes, I liked, you know, when you talked about, but you know, Mahatma Gandhi left, Nehru left, it still went on. So yes, that was a nice takeaway too. Thank you for sharing that. That was my takeaway. I forgot, so I'm glad you brought it up, Saurabh. Very nice. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna. Jai, accept the humble obeisances. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, wonderful lecture. So many points are made. And Srila Prabhupada, again, talked about politicians wanting to remain in power until they're forced out or being killed. We know when we normally retire, but there are some presidents that are way past the retirement age and they're still president of the country. So that proves Srila Prabhupada's point. This attachment to the material world is very strong. And then he says that that's male-female attachment, and when they married, then the heart knot is established, and you have to have land, house, children, money. In that way, the attachment is there. That's not how you go back to Godhead, unless you change everything, make it Krishna conscious. Arjuna did not want to fight his relatives. So Srila Prabhupada saying that he was an illusion because he didn't want to do that. Srila Prabhupada also talked about the qualification of a sadhu. He has to be a pure devotee of Krishna. Then Krishna is 100%. Bhagavan. Narayan is 94%, Lord Shiva is 84%. Living entities, we are 78% in quality, but very minute in quantity ourselves. And so everyone is some sort of expansion, amsa or kala, plenary expansion or portion of the plenary expansion or secondary expansion. And Krishna doesn't really, deal with the material world. That's his pastimes in the spiritual world, and the demigods handle everything here in the material world. And when he comes to the material world, he comes in his Vasudeva form. But Krishna himself is involved in pastimes in Vrindavan. And then he's served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune or gopis. So he was saying all of this when he was in his mother's lap. He still was Bhagavan. He proved that he was Bhagavan. Putana came to kill him and he killed Putana. So all these prove that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and still some people don't want to accept him as God. So then Srila Prabhupada says, I don't understand why there's so much there and still don't want to accept him as God. It's just because we are sinful, the lowest of mankind, knowledge has been taken away by Maya, we do not accept Krishna as God. People are advanced materially and still they don't accept Krishna as God. But actually, our activities have to be not for our own sense gratification, but it has to be dovetailed. Activities, if they are dovetailed to serve Krishna, then that's vairagya, the detachment from it. Detachment materially, and you send the fruits to Krishna. So when we satisfy Krishna's senses, then it's vairagya, or it's also can be called as bhakti, devotional service. So then finally, before the questions came, we were saying that work can be done. You do work as an employee or in business, even mentioned some particular professions, but give the fruits to Krishna. Give the fruits to Krishna. Then we'll be successful in our lives. Hare Krishna. So that's some of the things that I picked up. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I actually like that last point too, why Srila Prabhupada says, even in your profession, there are so many faults. You should not give it up. You should just go on. That was a very powerful point. I've heard that before, but it's such a good reminder for us whenever we come to a dilemma in our lives. He says we should not give up. There will be faults because we cannot find, at least when I read that, what came to my mind is there isn't a perfect profession in this material world because we don't live in a perfect world. It's not an ideal world. So we will never find a perfect profession. If anything, I think the only thing that's perfect is devotional service. But anything aside from that, it's not perfect. So because we are not in an ideal world, but we should not give up. We should go on. But then Srila Prabhupada says, but the results must be given to the Lord. And he said that is the secret. And then he says, you may work as a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a businessman, an engineer, a doctor, as a warrior, whatever you may be, it is never condemned. No work is condemned. So this is a very powerful, I think, reminder for us who are still full-time employees. Sometimes we feel like, like we kind of give up. But here we have Srila Prabhupada, he, don't give up. No work is condemned. Every work is dignified, provided it is meant for the Lord, so the results go to the Lord. So that is Krishna consciousness. So I thought that was a really, really powerful reminder for us, when we kind of lose taste in our work. We shouldn't give up because there will be faults. There is no perfect profession out there. So thank you for bringing that point up, reminding us that was one of my takeaways too, a very strong takeaway from Srila Prabhupada. So thank you. Any other points before we end this class? Any other takeaways, reflections that's coming to our mind? And if there isn't, please join us tomorrow morning for tomorrow morning's class will be given by Mother Geeta. She's covering for Vishwagada Prabhu because he's traveling. So Mother Geeta will be giving tomorrow morning's class. So please do join us tomorrow morning. Until then, Vanshakabhadibhyascha, Kripasindabevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Have a wonderful evening. Hari Hari Bol.